ordered the two-piece? Huh? Who did it? Who needed the two-piece? Because we got a two-piece news story today. Two stories that go hand in hand, so why not? Let's discuss them together. Sony is considering bringing PlayStation VR to the PC, along with the 4K being announced prior to PlayStation VR's release. You can kind of see what's going on with these news stories, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the lowdown here. The executives over at Sony, Vice President Masayasu, was saying that he was interested in bringing PlayStation VR over to the PC side because PlayStation architecture isn't that different from PC architecture, current PC architecture. If he means that the PlayStation 4 is the equivalent of a 2012 PC, then he'd be right. Oh, shots fired. Ladies and gentlemen, get your targets out, because I'm blazing them, okay? I'm gonna nail that target. I'm dead on with my shots being fired here. But real talk, though, that's something that needs to be addressed. The PlayStation 4 is roughly the equivalent of a PC that's as powerful as a 2012 release. You put in a weaker version of an 8350 and a, like, not even a GTX 950 Ti, man, or 750 Ti, like something a little bit less, a really powerful AMD APU, you got yourself pretty much the PC version of the PlayStation 4. It's junk, man, compared to PC specs. No SSD, not a lot of RAM. The processor is a little bit weak, even though it's multi-core and has quite a few, and the graphics processing chip is pretty garbage too. So my only question is, if PlayStation 4 is honestly going to support 4K content, which they are talking about, they're talking about higher end gaming experiences. Now, you guys need to look at these words. This is what's confusing me. How are you going to support 4K when you can barely sustain 1080p and not at 60 frames a second constant with many games? Yes, there are games that can do 1080p 60 frames a second, but there's also many games that dip down. I mean, have you guys seen the Hitman game on the PlayStation 4? Sometimes it gets up to 60. A lot of the times it dips below 30, dips to 40. I mean, what do you want me to say about this? Yeah, it can do at 30, but it's 60? 1080p? No. So how are you going to do 4K if you can't even do that? You're talking about 4 times the resolution. Are you going to do 4K at 30 frames a second? Because that kind of, well, it doesn't necessarily defeat the purpose, and then definitely be part for the course for the console market. But it's still weird that you would emphasize 4K over actual solid frame rate that's stable. I don't understand what people are thinking. But apparently, the VR is going to potentially be moving over to the PC. Now, I find it extremely funny that Shaq News attached a Drift VR gameplay interview with Adam Orth. Hey, man, Adam Orth, what a joke guy. We live in an online society, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, Microsoft backpedaled from that real quick, didn't they? Yes, they did. If you didn't know. But yeah, I don't understand how the hell they're going to do that. How are you going to do that? First off, we're looking at the PlayStation 4. It's already cram-packed. There's no room to just shove a graphics card in there. And even if there was, you need to modify the PCB to accept a graphics card. Because as it is, the motherboard itself doesn't even have a PCI Express slot to accept most conventional motherboards. So if they are going to be making a PlayStation 4.5 or 4K or whatever, they're going to have to literally redo the entirety of the PlayStation 4, put a new chip in it, and maybe a graphics card, but probably not. Probably it's just going to be an updated version of an APU, and they're probably going to play with words and say, well, it can do 4K content, it can stream 4K content, you can watch 4K content on your VR, you can play 4K content on the VR, but it won't be able to drive 4K natively. It won't be able to do 4K in games. So it's just I don't know. Maybe they'll try to do the whole, oh, it's almost 4K, like the true 1080p that came out a while ago, where it was like, oh, this is HD. Oh, but this is true HD. So like they had 720p versus 1080p. Maybe they'll do something like that, like with 3600 by something. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they'll do 1440p and try to pass that off as almost 4K, you know? Who knows? I just don't see it possible. Not even with APUs that are on the market today. I don't think they can do games on 4K. I know that you can watch like Netflix on 4K on certain APUs. I know you can do a lot of stuff in 4K. You don't even need that much just to drive a desktop at times. But it's just, you need the HDMI output, you need the screen to be compatible with it, and you need the system to be able to drive the graphical prowess for the games themselves. So as far as PlayStation coming over to PC, the VR, I don't know. That might be a decent alternative for you to get VR on your PC if you like Sony. I don't know. The only thing I see that VR can offer for me is virtual desktop, which is an amazing application coming out, and I might buy a virtual reality headset just for that alone. But as far as everything else, I'm not really interested. The games look gimmicky and shit, personally, in my opinion. They seem like Steam indie games rather than AAA developed, or anything that I would personally be interested in. No offense, and I'm sure there's going to be one person out there, and Sony's developing some AAA games for their VR headset. Yeah, Sony developed some games for their PlayStation Move 2. I think Killzone 3 was one of them. They were trying to promote a gun that was only used with one game. Yeah, man, that worked out great for them. Same with Microsoft. Microsoft developed games for their Kinect. Those peripherals got dropped. It doesn't matter if AAA developers develop for it or not. What matters is if people want to buy those games, and that will determine if PlayStation VR comes over to the PC or not anyways. So if the headset succeeds, there's no question that we'll be seeing it on the PC. But as far as a 4K PlayStation, I just don't see it. I don't see how. How? It would have to be the size of an Xbox. It would just have to be. There'd be no questioning it. I don't know. Leave your comments down in the section below. I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. Thanks for watching, and as always, good gaming and God bless.